Hey everyone, how is everyone doing on this Monday night, Monday, March 13, 2023? How is everyone doing, huh? Well, beginning of another week, huh? And it's my birthday week. Supposedly, not supposedly, sir. Um, March 17th, 7 a.m. on a Sunday. That's when I was born, according to my mom. Right. Uh, it's also St. Patrick's Day here in America. So it's going to be a lot of drinking and a lot of parties and a lot of like green, like beer glasses, or like green beer. Uh, yeah, I think I'm going to basically book like some sort of a spa or maybe like a massage that day. And I don't think I'm going to go out because I have plans to go out for lunch, what do you call, kind of a brunch with my ex-colleagues on Saturday, right? Which is the 18th. So I'm gonna stay in Friday and after work, I'm just gonna chill home. I did a little bit of partying last Saturday. I'm sorry, you know. Uh, as my wife would say, I mean, are you really that young to go partying and dancing? Well, I mean, it was kind of a ritual, I think. Also because I was a little frustrated and I was home, and then I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should go like listen to some music, and watch the sunrise. And that's what I did. But yeah, I know I'm too fucking old to do that. But it was fun. Other than that, then I just took it easy yesterday, the whole fucking day. And yeah, I miss her, and it's becoming harder and harder, for both of us. Sucks. These stupid borders and whatnot we have, right? I understand why, because a lot of criminals want to come into this country, right? And they can forge things, documents, etc., right? But hey, we are doing whatever we can. I mean, I filed her petition, and without getting into too many details, it just sucks that we are not together. All right. I did some cooking today after I came back from work. Maybe I'm getting addicted to something like biryani in my own style. I don't know if you guys saw my video. Uh, not spicy, but I made it more like a biryani, basically, not pulao, but biryani, right? So that was good, with chicken, and I'm feeling a little bit hungry now. But maybe before I hit the shake, I might have another bite. Who knows, right? But sometimes you also gotta take a break from you know everything. And that's what I did yesterday. Except that I was missing my wife, and then she calls me. In any case, so thanks to her and everybody else, I think in Islamabad, my parents and everybody else, my sisters, my wife, they have moved to the new place, right? Which looks good. Actually, I was looking at the pictures. Nice, good job. Thanks to my wife and again everybody else, my parents and my sisters, right? and my brother-in-law. What else is going on, huh? So I was watching and listening to this guy Patrick Brett. What's his name? PBD. He's a financial guy, right? They were talking about the goddamn, the whole thing with the Silicon Valley Bank, right? SVB, which has failed apparently. So is this like the beginning of fucking another 2008 style recession? Huh? Global recession? I hope not. Patrick PBD podcast on YouTube. And he had some guests on. They were talking about what's going to happen, blah, 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 right? Oh, Patrick Bet David. And they were talking about the state of affairs when it comes to like, these stocks and, like the mortgage and rates and all that, right? Interest rates and all that. And SWB, isn't that like a major bank? One of the big banks? I mean, Silicon Valley. Wasn't like Silicon Valley the new Wall Street back in the like 2000s and 2000 like 2010s really. Silicon Valley became the new Wall Street because they were the hoarders of all the fucking money and all that, right? And I think it's even to this day, all these big companies, right? Big companies like Google and Apple and even Jeff Bezos, Amazon, all these companies are based off of Silicon Valley, right? Isn't that where they started? And that's where all the money is, and that's where all these new Wall Street people were, right? The tech guys, right? Tech companies. But in any case, what the hell were they saying? That is this like a beginning of recession? But I think it may be a little too early because if it becomes a fucking recession like 2008, well, that's not good, That's not good. And am I going to lose my business? I don't know. Who knows? So far I'm okay, So far I'm okay. We have enough work to keep us busy, And me and my 3 interns and my wife helps me, with the management side, invoicing, etc., etc. Right? One thing I noticed that when I come home from work, I would eat food and then I feel so fucking tired that I had to take a nap for like 30 minutes, 40 minutes, right? It's not really a nap because I don't really take naps. Either I sleep or I just don't fucking sleep, right? So this is like, I'm just so tired. I don't feel like getting up, and then after like like half an hour, 40 minutes, and then I wake up and I'm like, holy shit, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. And so this whole, burnout. Oh yeah, burnout. I think that's what I felt like, burnout Saturday, I felt like a burnout, after all that work and just the stress of, the deadlines and this and that. I'm like, fuck this. I'm just gonna go listen to some music, and and on top of the fact that I was thinking about my wife and all that, right? And so burnout is a real thing, especially if you don't have other means to basically counter that, right? Counter your work burnouts, especially stress, So I mean, this is one of the things I do, once a week, my podcast, just to like also shut myself down, for an hour and just talk shit, and nothing serious, nothing like really not too unserious either, just whatever the hell I want to talk about, and that's what I do. And especially, I think I've said this many times, we have just become the slaves to these fucking phones and technology, and somehow we have become so much fucking dependent that I mean, this is not even a joke now. Like, for example, can I live with my uh, phone not with me? Huh? That's a question maybe you all should ask yourselves. I'm just talking about a fucking phone, all right? Goddamn phone. Can you actually live without this gadget or this part of our human mind's extension, right? Yeah, but here's the problem, right? The problem is, again, without repeating myself, we have to somehow stand or sit outside the whole shell of this whole fucking, wall we have created around ourselves with technology. And I was actually just looking at the screens I have in this room, right? In my apartment, I have a fucking this computer, which basically is in my bedroom, where I watch the movies and shows before I pass the F out, right? And then I have this TV, right? Which TV obviously is in my bedroom, right? And then I have this fucking TV in my living room, right? Where I watch and listen to shows and I mean podcasts and watch shows and whatnot, right? And then I have this computer here, right? And then I have that fucking other. It's like a fucking. I feel like, what the fuck, dude? It's like overwhelming, and I'm like, fuck this, It's like, are we so much fucking dependent on these screens that sometimes I felt, I mean, and that's what I felt like the other night, and I'm like, fuck this, what the fuck am I doing? I looked at the screen and I'm like, I mean, these fucking screens can't talk to me, or yeah, maybe if I talk to Siri on my phone, or maybe Alexa, but then other than that, what the fuck? I mean, I'm a human being. I have a fucking, you know, I'm not a fucking robot, and I don't have a soul. I don't know. I mean, let's not get into that discussion. But yeah, the Western world is like this, like you are just at your own, sir. You know, you're at your own, especially. I mean, I'm married now, although my wife is not here. Uh, we just have to be patient. But people who are single, especially when you get older and you realize you're single, you know, and then it just becomes just fucking too much. Or maybe I'm just too fucking weak, or I was. No, I don't think I was weak to say that, oh, I'm going to live my life single, the way I was like before last year, right? No, I mean, I chose to marry, and yeah, relationships are not easy, relationships are not easy, but you have to compromise. You have to compromise. Both sides have to compromise, and then you have to basically look at the brighter things, and that's what the relationships are, you know. So I don't know. I just I don't know what the fuck I was going to do if I wasn't married, right? Was I going to be like a monk or something? Or I don't know. But I just couldn't continue the way I continued. And I think the biggest thing, which was a really, good thing for me that happened, was getting my citizenship last year, I mean, September, December, right after my sister's wedding. I got the interview, and I got the citizenship. I mean, it took me a lot of fucking years. So I should have got my citizenship actually instead of 2022. I should have gotten it in 2016 or 2017. So I'm like 6 years, 5 years like late, right? which is actually not bad compared to some people. And well, it is late, if you think about it, because I think I just wasn't really like happy, especially in the years like after 2009, 2009, and I was single, and I wasn't dating anyone, and like especially in New York is such a fucking crazy place because everybody is so fucking looking for this like whatever, right, Mr. Whatever the fuck, right? Brad Pitt or whatever, right? Or Mr. George Clooney, or of the East or whatever, West or where the fuck it is, South or down North or up North or down South, right? And so New York is like a crucible for dating. Crucible. You know what a crucible is? Where they actually experiment. They put everything into like the hard experimentation. That's what it is. You know. So I wasn't happy, after 2009, and then I quit my job, and then I'm like, fuck this, I'm done with engineering. I'm like, fuck this, what the fuck am I going to do? And this was right after recession, that was also not good. But, and then I drove a cab, a yellow cab in New York for 3 months, and I fucking hated it, especially at night, dude. It was the fucking horrible, what was I getting? $100 a fucking night, after all that fucking like 6 hours of like fucking driving around in the city, and it's, oh my god, you know but uh but then and then I also like fooled around with like food, and I wanted to be a chef, I wanted to be a musician, and when I really didn't pursue any of that. You have to really pursue that stuff, and then and then I had to pay the fucking bills, and then so I got back into engineering, 2010, 2011, and it was a tough time, man. It was a fucking tough time, because again, it was right after recession, and there were not a lot of jobs, and I didn't know a lot of people, because the only people I knew was from my company, right? And then I had quit, and then and and there were not a lot of jobs. I think that's what it was, and I got some offers. I remember I got some job offers up in fucking Connecticut, and I didn't want to go. What the fuck I was gonna do up in Connecticut, like in the middle of nowhere. And so I registered my own company, and this is where I am now. Am I really happy where I am? Well, sir, if you really ask me, I'm not talking about like making some quick bucks, few bucks, quick bucks off of like these videos of YouTube or whatever these kids are doing these days, and it fucking blows my fucking mind, to be honest with you. I mean, these kids, these teenagers, what the fuck they are, right? And they are making these like 30-second videos, and they're making what, like $100,000 every fucking month? Is that what it is? And here I am working my fucking ass off, right? And yeah, I mean, I'm just on a fucking basic salary for my experience and for my qualifications and whatnot, right? Oh, speaking of which, so I already started, taking the classes for what do you call? Not the classes, sir, continuing education, because I had to get that for my New Jersey license. So I think I already have 1 hour, and I'm going to get 2 more hours this week. And so, and then hopefully in few weeks, I'm going to get 20 hours, 24 hours, whatever the hell I have to get, right? And then renew my license, right? All right, so I'm sorry, I apologize. I'm jumping from one topic to the other, But for all you out there, wherever you are, doesn't matter. I mean, this work burnout, maybe it's not that much. I don't know. In some sectors of the workforce, right? Maybe it's not that much. Especially, I mean, if you're working for a fucking government, right? Then you just do your fucking 7 hours and you don't give a fuck about like what happens after like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, right? If I was working for government, that's what I would do. Fuck it. And so, oh, isn't that why government is not going anywhere, sir? Huh? I mean, well, many parts of the government, doesn't matter what part of the world, what part of the fucking globe, which country, because that's what happens with government, right? But I'm not saying that all government jobs are like that, but some people actually, go seek government jobs because they are so. I mean, you get a lot of hours, and then pension, right? Government pension and all that. Maybe I should start working for government, at some point in time, so I can get my pension and all that. Should I? No. I should be making enough money so I don't have to worry about me and my wife and my family, right? Down the road. And I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get on, which we call the 401k and and savings and all that. I mean, the only saving I have is this apartment, to be honest with you. I mean, even then, this is where I'm paying the mortgage, right? This is my asset, and and the bread and butter for me is obviously my company, right? Yeah, I got a lot of work. And the other problem, I think I said this, is that I need some sort of a right hand man or a woman here. And for all these years, I have had my workers and engineers and my employees, and yes, I can't just fucking rely on anybody. And I think this is where you feel you feel the need for somebody who you can rely on. You can train them, but at the same time, you also have to give them a good salary, obviously, what they deserve, etc., etc., right? uh, so I'm retraining my engineers, my interns, and I'm going to offer them full-time jobs, I think, towards the end of the year. Graduations. I mean, not end of graduation, sir. End of the year school years, right? What is it, like the 4-year degree, right? Engineering degree is a 4-year degree. So two of my engineers are actually retiring. Am I turning my podcast into a work podcast? No, sir. So without getting too much into details, what the hell was that? Oh shit, I know what the hell was that. What the hell that was. I bought this speaker because the computer that I'm using, right? The desktop I was using, and this fucking stupid desktop, I realized, didn't have a goddamn speaker. And I was talking to my brother-in-law because I bought this from him, right? And so he told me, yeah, he doesn't have a fucking speaker. So I connected it to a one of those like plug-in small speakers, right? Which you can plug into where the the headphone jack is, right? Yeah, that's it. And then it works. And then it also has Bluetooth. But that fucking computer does not have Bluetooth either. So I guess not that I guess, but I know that he was using that for just for like fucking video games. And I basically bought that from him for like playing like Microsoft, Flight Simulator. How is that going, by the way, sir? Okay, so well, I mean, I have to actually talk to my wife, and yeah, that's one of my passions. I want to pursue, flying planes. Why not? Why the fuck not? I mean, I think what I say is that this is like the 1920s. when Ford, what was that, T100, Ford T100, cars came onto the fucking road, right? And people were like looking at them and like, oh my God, what the fuck is this? Oh, these machines are basically just driving by themselves. Well, they were not driving by themselves, but they were, basically just these machines which were basically, crawling on the fucking roads, right? Dirt roads at that time, horse carriage roads in New York, and you can see all those fucking movies from the 60s, right? Now, I mean 20s, 1900s, 1910s, and 1920s, and you see all those fucking cars, right? So I think that's what's happening now. I think many people like me and many of you out there would feel the same, that what the fuck, if I can have a car, why can't I have a fucking plane to fly, right? Well, see, that's the problem with humans. It's going to take, well, I was hoping that this decade, I'm still hoping that this decade would be like a breakthrough, for owning like personal, flying cars for human beings, because why the fuck not? Why the fuck not? I mean, the only problem I see with the flying cars is the hovering and the parking, right? So I think personal flying cars may be a far-fetched idea at this point in time, but I think it still can be a reality. Maybe not in a place like New York City or these like really densely populated metropolis metropolises like New York, right? But if you go to like a place like Arkansas, isn't that where they have a big initiative for flying cars? I mean, I have been saying this, like I feel like Dustin Hoffman. I feel like fucking Dustin Hoffman, and who was the other guy in that movie? Remember, from the 1960s, Midnight Cowboys, where Dustin Hoffman is getting so old, getting sick and tired of New York City. He wants to go somewhere nice and warm, and he talks about that all the fucking time, but he can't do it, right? I mean, he can't do anything. He doesn't do anything really, right? About that. So that's what I feel like, in a sense, when I talk about like flying cars. Okay, where's your fucking flying car, sir? Well, I think I need to get my private pilot license first, and I'm gonna have to convince my wife, that it's not too late. Yeah, I may be old, but hey, it's something that I want to pursue. It's like my passion, and I do want to actually uh, avoid all those fucking airport securities, and I want to have my own fucking plane. I want to like fly one of those like Cessnas, right, or Cirruses, and why the fuck not, right? uh, I mean, when you go into your fucking grave, sir or ma'am, the first thing you're gonna realize, you're gonna ask yourself, oh my God, you know what I did? Doesn't fucking matter what I did. What matters is what I did not do. Those are the fucking regrets. I'm not saying that that's the motivation, but the motivation is the passion. Passion is the motivation, right? So what's my passion? My passion is yeah, I mean, passion is, I don't know, do I have a fucking passion? I mean, I just work because I'm a fucking workaholic, right? And I was actually talking to one of my clients, Saturday I did. I mean, listen, oh, ha, ha, ooh, ha. What I'm saying is that I did work on Saturday. I had to go to one of my clients and up in Westchester, And he was talking to me about how he actually works hard and basically work is his passion and all that. I was telling him, hey man, you know, yeah, we all we do this and we are successful to an extent, for our work and whatnot. But we gotta find some passion, we gotta find something that actually just like what do you call, it just takes our stress away, because when I'm working, I'm on the fucking, row, and I'm on the fucking phone, and I'm pretty sure you all are, you have to do this, you have to get your fucking drawings done, whatever else, right? Uh, so how the fuck do you deal with that, in your life? I mean, you feel proud, you feel like, oh, you accomplished, your deadlines and whatnot, right? But then, is that what you are, really? To be honest with you, that's not what you are. You're not a fucking workhorse. Yeah, workhorse, to be a workhorse is good, is good for you, is good for your, what do you call, work ethic and all that, right? But then, but then, what is it that you should do to counter that? Means not counter that, but to actually say to yourself, oh, you know what? I'm just gonna now like fucking chill out, with my friends. Or oh, you gotta find some patience, you gotta find something that actually, that actually makes you feel good, other than work. Yes, work can make you feel good, of course. So so that's something that we all have to find, and for me, and this fucking weather, I was just like looking, I was, whenever I'm talking to my wife, it's, especially these days, I don't know what the fuck's going on. It's like, didn't I say this, that I think what's happening is that we have to actually push. Didn't I say this in one of my like older podcasts, that weather has changed so much that now we have to actually change, like fucking March should be actually February. Hmm? March is actually February. You get my point? Means we have to push the whole calendar, a whole fucking month forward. You know how they actually changed the time this past Sunday, right? So that they push the clock forward for daylight timing, right? That's not what I'm talking about. I understand daylight timing. The philosophy behind that is different because you gain more hours during the daytime, right? For whatever the hell you're doing in terms of like your work or your pleasure, right? Recreation. But when I talk about, for example, oh, March should be the new February, means remember how March actually used to be? Well, March and February both are kind of. I mean, February is the most fucking horrible, month in Northeast. To be honest with you, except that this year we got really exceptionally fucking lucky. Except for tonight, I think it's gonna snow tonight. And remember that one one night of snow, and that was like half an inch of snow, and I was looking down my window here, and I'm like, oh, that's a fucking joke. But looks like Tuesday, tomorrow, is going to be some fucking snow. Although I don't believe that because, yeah, I mean, it's not going to snow at 40 degrees, 35 degrees, Even if it does, it's going to just melt, which is better, right? But getting back to the point I'm trying to make is that the idea of pushing the whole month forward is because of the change in weather. Change in weather, I think, on a permanent basis, which is that, oh, you know what, November is going to feel like October. I'm telling you, and that's what it's going to be like as we move on into our, what is it, like end of this decade, end of the 20s, right, decade. November is going to more feel like October, and then December is going to more feel like November, and then so on and so forth, right? So that's why we have this fucking weather in the 30s, and it's not inching up. It's not even fucking inching up above like 45 degrees, although it's March 13th today, you know? So I'm like, what the fuck, man? So that's why I think we should actually move these months forward. A whole fucking month. So how the fuck do we do that, sir? I think we should call February the January. So how do you do that? Okay, well, I'm not talking about, remember the whole idea about the metric calendar and then the whole thing with the 12 months and whatnot. But this has nothing to do with that calendar, or if you're coming up with the metric calendar, or if you're coming with the calendar with like 20 months and I don't know, like a 5-day week, and then like consistent 30 days in every month, right, or whatever, 20 days in every month, right? That's a whole different conversation. If you want to change the calendar, instead of starting it, in January 1st and all that, you can start any time of the year. It doesn't matter, But you cannot base it off lunar calendar, all right? Because lunar calendar is a fucking nightmare, all right? So that's why these Jesuit priests in the 16th century, was that 15th century? They came up with this, solar calendar. It's called the Gregorian calendar, right? Priest Gregory, he's the one who actually, because they were actually astronomers, those priests, and so that's how they came up. But then they twisted it to the beginning of like year, to coincide with the birth of Christ, And I'm like, dude, how the fuck do you know when birth of Christ was? Okay, I don't want to get into that, but who knows? I mean, really, Christ was born on December 25th, whatever, right? But the point I'm trying to make is that now the reality is that I think, and I hope not, we are going to have some other fucking weather change in future. I think this is the fucking beginning, So if we are going to change, let's say February to March, right? I'm sorry, March to February. That means that we should actually have, if you want to have a white Christmas for all you people who celebrate Christmas, right? Then you should actually change it to February. January 25th should be Christmas, to be honest with you, right? I'm not saying that that's what it should be, but you get my point, right? So, so based on that, and the fact that, and somebody has to, like NOAA, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration of the U.S. government, they probably have charts, right, of all the weather data for the past 10 years, and they're going to say, oh, holy shit, you know what? For the past 60 years, we had this data, right? Well, January was the fucking, coldest, and then, oh, wait a minute, now fucking February is the coldest, right? Which fucking means that, March is going to be the next February. You get my point, right? So, am I going to beat this to death? I mean, this topic to death, but you get my point, right? So I'm just going to move on. But what I'm saying is that we got lucky this year. I understand we got fucking lucky this year, but again, I don't see when there is a weather, especially in fucking Northeast, right? When there is a weather event in Northeast, right, which is actually not very inconsistent with other either. Oh, we were supposed to get some snow, here and there, and then we were supposed to get some cold. Yeah, we got some fucking cold from Canada and all that, right? But no snow. So this year is a peculiar year, probably an outlier on the fucking chart, on the graph, right? So that means that it's not a good thing. And this is what I tell people at the beginning of the fucking year. I'm like the hog that predicts the year, right? And when people say, "Oh, this year is so," oh, we don't have even like fucking, cold in January. Although we did have cold in fucking December, right? Few cold, those fucking cold spells, right? But in any case, so when this happens, this is not good, because that's when I realize, oh, holy fucking shit. If you didn't get any fucking snow in January, right? Or let's say December, we usually don't get any snow, but in January and then early February, if you don't get any fucking snow, that means that this is going to stretch, this fucking winter is going to stretch all the way to the fucking end of March, probably into fucking April. And that's what's happening this year. So there you go. That's my fucking rant on weather, all right? So all you people out there, you're saying, oh, it's just only like, oh, 1 week and then it's like spring. No. This is going to stretch, and the whole weather has changed. I'm not saying on an apocalyptic level, but I think it is going to change. It has already changed, so we should move 1 month forward. All right? So that's what it is. All right, everyone, what else is going on, huh? I talked about whatever the hell I wanted to talk about, right? And that's the whole point of the fucking podcast, right? Am I going to rant on something else? No, I just, I'm just, I just miss my wife, which sucks. Because, you're supposed to be together after you get married, right? But if for example, if she were from one of these European countries, right, where we have a pact with those countries, right, where U.S. has a pact with those countries, oh, you don't need a fucking visa to come here, if that was the case, she would be here anytime, right? And then this is the fucking, see, isn't that discrimination against these countries we have, right? But then, if that was the case, then everybody from that country would come here, right? Isn't that the case? Like, because all these, what do you call, poor countries, Pakistan is it's a developing country, right? I think, well, yeah, there's a lot of poverty there, and I said that last time about, kids begging on the street, and they're just fucking, I can't just accept that, man. It's very unacceptable for me. But then what the fuck am I going to do? I'm just going to be like, I'm going to be sad, it just makes me feel sad, but then what are you going to do? There are thousands of them, and yeah, those kids should be, in school, and because they don't, it's just not their fault, dude. If you're 8, 9, even up to like you're 14, 15, you are give or take, all right? So after 18, your brain actually has developed enough neurons, for you to actually think around and, realize your fucking, environment and where you are, etc., etc. And so I just, I just feel like, she deserves to be here, and I deserve to be with her. And am I going to turn this again into like an emotional rant at the end of the podcast? I'm gonna try to not do that, but you guys tell me, what the fuck, dude? I mean, um, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I know. I mean, there's nothing I can do, and except waiting in just like months, waiting for months and months, dude. It's like, what am I fucking? I don't know, dude. It's like I feel like sometimes I feel like this fucking planet is so backwards, and I said this many times. By now, you think that at least we have resolved these issues with border and immigration and all that, right? But I guess we haven't, and I think it's going to take us. It's going to take us a while. It's going to take us a fucking while because I think the whole idea is, for example, is that if you want to actually, have some sort of a balance, right? Let's say balance of like whatever, right? West, for example, has a lot of people who are lonely and who are lunatics. Well, I mean, yeah, they are those of that too. But also the fucking population decline. I said that in my last podcast, one of those, right? And then the developing countries are poor countries. They have a lot of population and they don't have a lot of skills. And how do you balance that out? Maybe I'm just thinking like out loud and just like I don't know. Maybe I'm just thinking like somebody who's looking down upon this fucking planet, and I'm like laughing, and I'm like not laughing, but I'm like, it's like a satire. It's like, really, you guys still have borders? Oh my fucking god! And you are the same fucking people. You want, regardless of where you were born, regardless of what race, regardless of what religion you were born into, regardless of what color of your skin, right? You want the same thing as any other human being on this fucking planet. Some sort of a peace, some sort of financial stability, some sort of stability in your relationships, and then that's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. And everything else, if it comes, it comes in your life. You work in the right direction, and if it happens, and then you're lucky. I'm not talking about you become like fucking next Bill Gates or something, but you get my point, right? And so that's why when I was in my undergrad, in Lahore, I'm trying to remember. I used to read like these philosophers, and that just reminds me of those days. This reminds me of those days because my wife is kind of into that, and that's one of the things that I really liked about her, that she's very intelligent and all that, right? On many levels. And yeah, sometimes I feel like so fucking stupid sometimes that maybe I should just like, dude, I know I'm not stupid, but I just act like, I don't know, maybe I'm just like going too much with the fucking flow, and it's like, or compulsive, and it's just like, dude, what the fuck I was talking about. Anyway, so let me finish the thought on what the fuck I was talking about before, right? Which is that I I feel not only because of the situation with my wife, and I think it's the situation with many of you who have married outside this country, right? Especially from Pakistan or those India, or I don't know what the situation is. India is, or let's say Philippines or China, whatever, right? I'm not talking about you just go there. You didn't you didn't know anybody, and you got married. It's not like that, all right? I married from my hometown where I grew up, okay? So And so it's not an easy thing. It's not an immigration is not a fucking easy thing. I understand there are a lot of caveats to it, and so for me to just, you know, reduce it down to like few things like, oh, you know what, I'm a citizen here, and she's my wife, we married, you know, and I filed my petition for her, right? So shouldn't that be just enough for the immigration people to say, oh yeah, oh, we know this guy, and and we know her, and oh, let's give her the visa, right? And why does it take like fucking 10 months, 8 months, whatever it is, right? I know I'm basically explaining this in a very simple, reduced, you know, way, right? But I understand. You have to check all the documents. You have to check who the fuck this guy is, who she is, blah blah blah. I understand that part, but and then yes, the backlog after COVID, because they don't have enough people to work on these cases, right? And and again, I think in this country we need people. We need people in many sectors. All right, we need people in many sectors, and especially technical sectors, and in many other sectors, health and all that, right? Maybe I can also like talk to some health officials, and maybe get my wife like some sort of a sponsorship. I don't know. I don't know, dude. I just married her, and I just filed for her petition, hoping, still with the hope that she'll be here sooner. And I'm pretty sure many of you again, without repeating myself, many of you who have actually done this, are doing this, are feeling the same pain. It's such a painful thing, you realize, you know. And again, what I'm saying is that, oh, we have these immigrants who come through these southern borders, and we put them in these luxury hotels in Midtown. They're just like, and then I'm waiting for my wife, you know. And I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I have to see what we can do. I mean, we have to wait at least for a couple of months, and then, yeah, I made that fucking mistake without getting into detail. We were trying to get her a visiting visa, and I realized, oh fuck, how stupid could I be? You know, that I should have told her. I should have known. You know. But in any case, so what the fuck, dude? That also kind of like makes me feel like maybe I just, I made the mistake. Yeah, like, how many more fucking mistakes? I don't know, dude. It's like when you don't understand something, and then you realize that, oh shit, you know what? I'm not, yeah, I mean, it's not really my fault, but at the same time, it's also my fault. And it's not her fault at all. No, she hasn't been to any of these countries, so let's see. I'm just crossing my fingers, and you all can do the same for me and her, and it just, it's not easy to leave if you're married and you're not with her, or you're not with him. So I don't know. I'm just, I mean, I'm just, I'm just kind of heartbroken in that sense, that, I mean, my birthday is coming up, and she's not with me, and it's like, and it sucks, man. It totally sucks, and but hey, sorry, I just didn't mean to turn this into like an emotional thing at the end, but I guess it just did become this, like, in a natural way, and it's like it sucks, these fucking borders. And I know people, I mean, yeah, people who actually come from these other countries, they are privileged because they have, they don't have to have a visa and this and that, right? But what the fuck, dude? So in any case, what else is going on? I'm sorry, I apologize. It just made me kind of fucking emotional. And I just want to wish us, both of us, the best of luck, because especially, for her to be here. And I'm a guy who doesn't have any fucking patience, so especially, I'm like, what the fuck, dude? All right, okay, so are you going to basically just keep repeating yourself, sir, about this whole thing with your wife? Well, let's change the subject for a second. I got a few more minutes, and then I'm just going to pass the F out in my bedroom, watch shows. Let's talk about the shows for a second. I was watching Picard. Is Picard done now? 1923 is done. What's the other one? 1923 with Harrison Ford. That's fucking done. And what else was there that I was watching? Oh, Tulsa King with Sylvester Stallone. That's done, I think. Are they going to have another season? I have no fucking idea. But in any case, I'm gonna watch. What the fuck am I gonna watch, dude? Sorry, I feel like fucking depressed again. You know why? Because I just think about the whole thing. But in any case, so let's not think about the whole thing, sir. Let's just focus. And the focus is that I'm gonna watch something, and then I'm just gonna pass out. So I'm gonna watch a movie. I don't know what are the okay. So Oscars, fucking Oscars, right? No, I was supposed to go to my sister's place on Sunday, and they had invited me, and I just couldn't go because dude, I just shut myself down from this whole fucking world, as some sort of a protest against this fucking world for these borders. My wife is not here, whatever, right? I think that was my protest within my own self, and I'm hoping that the fucking aliens will listen to me, right? Well, the aliens, we don't know where the fuck the aliens are, sir. And that's not how the aliens are going to listen to you, if there are any. But well, how else, sir? Didn't I say that there are other dimensions you can only access through your own fucking psyche? Yeah, maybe. I have no fucking idea. But yeah, so Oscars. So who won? What the fuck happened? I have no fucking idea. Oscars, who are the winners? I mean, I don't give a fuck. I mean, is that because everybody's talking about fucking Oscars? I mean, I felt like, why the fuck am I even entertaining this whole thing about like it's all fucking fake? Like if I were an actor, right? I think I would be, I would feel like I'm living a fucking fake life. Or I've been living a fucking fake life for the life of my life, for the lifetime. Being an actor, I think that's what I would feel like. But I guess if I'm making like fucking $100 million off of a fucking, not $100 million, but you get my point, right? Then I wouldn't give a fuck, right? But I mean, I would still have that fucking shell, of like, I mean, I'm not a tall guy. You have to be a really tall guy to be an actor, you know. Well, I guess Tom Cruise was, sir. He's not dead yet. Tom Cruise is short. I think he's as short as I am. right? But yeah, that's one of my regrets, to be honest with you. That's one of my fucking regrets, in my life, that I should have pursued acting, being in New York, somehow in showbiz. I should have pursued something in fucking showbiz. But then how many of the people who want to get into showbiz and all that, how many of them are actually successful, right? 1%, maybe point 5, 1%. So I guess I didn't have a chance. That's what I felt like. But then, that's actually a wrong perception. That's a wrong perception to say that, oh, I don't have any like fucking chance to be an actor or a movie star, one of those, right? But now, I'm too fucking old to pursue any of that. I should have done that when in my early 30s. Regardless, all right, everyone. I think did I fucking turn my podcast into some sort of a fucking depressing one. Just like the fucking depressing weather in New York. I'm sorry, I apologize, but yeah, regrets. Don't live with regrets. Don't fucking live with regrets in your life. Do whatever you can, and I know, I understand. It's not easy for many of you to be where you want to be, but you gotta try. You gotta fucking try, and just don't be in that fucking. Don't live in that. Whatever life you feel like you're living, but at the same time, when you dig deeper into your mind, you feel like, oh fuck, you know what? Maybe this is not what I want to do. This is not where I want to be in my life, in my career, especially. So with that said, I think I'm gonna close my podcast. Everyone, I'm sorry, I apologize, and I'll see you all next weekend or Monday.